In the summer of 2008, 2 years after I graduated from high school, I took a French language course in Quebec City. I walked from Laval University to the Plains of Abraham every day to go to my school. One day, I was especially late for class when I met my blonde. She was a 3.5 foot tall Barbie who somehow managed to sit on the curb despite missing one leg. She was waiting to be picked up by a garbage truck. I was overtaken by emotion for this realistic human female effigy, and as I walked on, I was torn by her impending doom. I decided to flip a coin. If it was tails, I would take her with me. It was heads. I painstakingly walked on, and a few minutes later I turned around and picked her up. There's nothing quite like the experience of walking into a French test late with a giant Barbie doll missing a leg. This was the beginning of a summer-long project called Ma Blonde. The installation art involved awkwardly walking around in public spaces with a doll and taking photos of her in iconic and historic Quebec City. That experience reminds me a lot of the graphic novel I chose, where four high school students named Jane create art installations in public spaces. Like the characters in the graphic novel, I was unencumbered by fear. The chance to explore possibilities was not only exciting, but it was an opportunity to create something that was uniquely mine. I believe this quality in adolescence is one of the greatest gifts they have to offer society. In this book, I would like to introduce you to the beautifully written and drawn graphic novel, The Plain Janes. It's written by Cecile Castellucci and drawn by Jim Rugg. From reading about Cecile Castellucci, I consider her to be somewhat of a Jill of all trades. Maybe for the purpose of this book talk, I should say a Jane of all trades. She was born in America but came to Montreal, Canada, where she studied film at the same university as me, Concordia. She was in several bands, including an all-female indie band. She recorded under the name of Cecile Seaskull. So she writes, directs films, makes music, and likes Star Trek. It sounds like she has a very full life from which to draw inspiration. Jim Rugg is an American cartoonist and illustrator from Pittsburgh. He's known for his 70s style comics and has created a number of other graphic works. He's also a teacher. Right now he's teaching a Mastered in Fine Arts visual narrative program at the School of Visual Arts. These two came together to tell the story of The Plain Janes. The graphic novel is the story of Jane, who leaves the city and all her friends after a big event. She moves with her family to suburbia, where she longs for a change. She meets 3 other Janes and works to earn their trust. They begin a project of creating anonymous art in public spaces. It's guerrilla art. Their artistic actions affect the community. I like this book a lot. Despite the fact that it's noticeably all white characters, I like how the main character creates something bigger than herself through art. I like how art is able to change a community and at the same time work to heal past traumas. I like how it shows the same event through different perspectives, and I like how the book leads to important questions like what is art and who gets to decide. In the novel, the Janes are building art in public spaces, and this character decides that they're art attacks, which brings up this question. Here is an entire Montreal museum wall of teddy bears on the right. It's created by Claude Cormier, and it reminded me of part of the novel where the Janes take stuffed animals and put them in front of the animal shelter and say, adopt a pet. I think this book does a good job of illustrating stereotypes, talking about the use of public space, and the divide between adults and youth. It's fun, but it's also serious. It tells an interesting story. The challenging energy that causes discomfort and changes the way things are can be constructive, such as the projects created by the Janes. The end.